Stone breathes heat long after sunset. Footsteps echo where law once moved faster than men. This is Rome in the 1st and 2nd centuries of the empire, not as an idea, but as a system that never slept. The city rises without symmetry. Streets bend and narrow, shaped by habit rather than plan. Stone blocks polished smooth by centuries of traffic carry carts, animals, and bodies pressed shoulder to shoulder. Above, buildings climb upward in uneven layers. Wooden balconies leaning over the street, laundry stretched between windows, voices drifting down from rooms stacked 5 and 6 levels high. The air is thick with smoke from cooking fires, damp stone, sweat, and the sharp scent of animals moving toward market. Rome is governed long before it is ruled. Power is embedded into distance, visibility, and movement. Streets do not simply connect places. They funnel crowds, separate classes, and slow or accelerate bodies depending on purpose. The main arteries carry officials, merchants, and soldiers. Smaller lanes absorb noise and hide domestic life behind plastered walls and shuttered doors. Insulae dominate the skyline. These apartment buildings house the majority of the population, rising higher where land grows scarce. Lower floors are sturdier, built of stone, occupied by shops and wealthier tenants. Upper levels grow lighter, cheaper, and more dangerous. Wood creaks under weight. Fire is a constant threat. Water must be carried by hand. At night, stairwells fill with shadow and the smell of oil lamps. Below, life spills outward. Bakers open before dawn, their ovens heating entire blocks. Street vendors arrange fish, olives, bread, and wine on wooden tables. Shouting becomes a language of survival. Prices are negotiated loudly. Disputes draw crowds instantly. There is little separation between commerce and residence. Work happens where people live. Noise never fully fades. Markets are not singular spaces, but networks. The Forum anchors the city, not just as a political center, but as an administrative engine. Here, law is read aloud, contracts sealed, disputes judged, and announcements spread by voice. Marble temples and basilicas frame open ground where clerks, scribes, and messengers move constantly. Administration in Rome depends on proximity. Decisions travel by foot, memory, and repetition. Temples rise everywhere, each embedded into daily routes. Worship is not separate from routine. Incense mixes with the smell of trade. Offerings are made quickly between errands. Priests observe schedules as carefully as magistrates. Religion stabilizes time in a city always in motion. Baths interrupt the rhythm. Massive complexes draw crowds throughout the day, dissolving social boundaries without erasing them. Steam fills vaulted halls. Bodies move from heat to cold in practiced sequence. Conversation echoes across marble. Business is conducted naked. Information spreads faster here than in any office. Water flows endlessly, drawn from distant hills by gravity alone, regulated by valves unseen by those who benefit from them. That water defines Rome more than monuments. Aqueducts cross valleys and enter the city at controlled heights, feeding fountains, baths, and private connections reserved for privilege. Every drop is accounted for. Maintenance crews work constantly, repairing leaks, clearing channels, monitoring pressure. Without water, the city collapses within days. Order is visible, but control lies elsewhere. Beneath streets and arenas stretches another Rome, dark and functional. Drains carry waste toward the river. Storage corridors hold grain shipments critical to survival. Underground passages allow movement without exposure. In the great entertainment venues, mechanisms wait in silence, ready to lift animals, scenery, and men into sudden light. Public order is enforced through presence rather than patrol. Soldiers are visible at gates, along major routes, and near administrative buildings. Authority announces itself through armor, posture, and repetition. Justice moves slowly but visibly. Punishment is public. Deterrence relies on memory. The grain supply governs everything. Ships arrive at port cities along the coast, their cargo transferred upriver, stored, and distributed through an administrative lattice refined over generations. Rations are measured, recorded, and guarded. Delays provoke unrest. Efficiency prevents rebellion. The system feeds hundreds of thousands not through generosity, but necessity. Architecture teaches behavior. Basilicas instruct patience. Forums encourage observation. Narrow streets enforce negotiation. Space itself governs how bodies move and interact. Even leisure is structured. The calendar controls festivals, work pauses, and public spectacles that release pressure in controlled bursts. The emperor is rarely seen, yet always present. Palaces rise above the city, positioned to observe rather than participate. Messages flow downward. Decisions ripple outward through administrators, clerks, and enforcers. Rome is not ruled from a throne alone, but through a mesh of routines repeated daily without question. Night does not quiet the city. Taverns fill, lamps flicker. Watchmen move deliberately, listening. Fires break out. Cries carry far. Somewhere, water continues to flow, grain continues to be counted, and records continue to be kept. Rome functions because nothing is left to chance. Even chaos is anticipated. The unexpected has procedures. The city survives not through inspiration, but through systems refined by pressure and maintained by countless unseen hands. What remains visible today is stone and scale. What once held the city together was movement, habit, and control embedded into every street, wall, and corridor. Control is not loud. It is constant. Clerks begin their work before the streets fully fill. Wax tablets open and close. Names are recorded. Deliveries are checked. Fines are noted. The administration of Rome lives in routine gestures repeated thousands of times a day. A document moves from hand to hand. A seal is pressed. A message is memorized and carried forward. The city is governed at walking speed. In residential quarters, life adapts to density. Privacy is rare. Sound travels easily through thin walls. Families eat in shifts. Children play in stairwells and courtyards. Water carriers climb endlessly, balancing weight against exhaustion. Above the ground floors, the city grows poorer and more precarious with each level. Collapse is feared as much as fire. Laws limit height, but enforcement bends under demand. Workshops cluster by trade. The smell of dye stains entire streets. Metal rings against metal. Leather soaks in vats. Smoke marks neighborhoods long before signs do. Guilds regulate skill and access, but competition remains fierce. Reputation spreads faster than written records. A craftsman's survival depends on recognition within a few blocks. Transportation is constant friction. Carts are restricted during daylight hours to prevent gridlock. Goods move at night under torchlight. The sound of wheels on stone echoes until morning. Animals crowd the streets, guided by shouts and sticks. Manure mixes with mud. Slaves clean what they can. Drainage carries the rest away. Religious processions interrupt everything. Streets clear. Noise shifts tone. Offerings are displayed. Authority and faith reinforce one another through spectacle that feels ordinary through repetition. The sacred does not rise above daily life. It runs through it.
Law is present in architecture. Courthouses stand open, designed for visibility. Proceedings are public. Crowds gather not just to witness justice, but to learn its rhythms. Outcomes are discussed immediately, interpreted, remembered. The law survives through familiarity. Entertainment is governance by release. Arenas draw enormous crowds away from markets and disputes. Schedules are precise. Entry is controlled. Seating reinforces hierarchy without explanation. Below the sand, crews work in darkness, lifting scenes and bodies into sudden view. Spectacle depends on engineering hidden from those who cheer. Food remains the quiet axis. Bakeries cannot stop. Grain must arrive. Distribution must feel fair, even when it is not. The city tolerates inequality only when hunger is managed. When supplies fail, order fails with them. Rome governs itself through systems layered atop one another. Infrastructure supports administration. Administration regulates movement. Movement sustains economy. Economy feeds population. Population pressures architecture. Architecture reinforces control. Nothing exists alone. The city does not feel planned, yet everything functions within boundaries shaped by centuries of correction. Mistakes become rules. Crises become procedures. Memory replaces innovation. By the 2nd century of empire, Rome is less a city than a machine tuned to human scale. It absorbs bodies, directs them, sustains them, and discards them when necessary. It does not rely on inspiration, it relies on continuity. Walking these streets is to feel that continuity pressing in from all sides. Stone, noise, routine, and authority combine into something stable and exhausting. Life continues because the system does, and when the system weakens, the city will feel it first, long before monuments crack or names are forgotten.